Peace. Wishing all good health, stability, and prosperity. Continuing on our discussion on sustainability for the community, I'd like to bring focus on some of the thought processes that go into the development of sustainable programs, right? One way to look at it is through a process we call GOBRADIME, which is an acronym that stands for goals, observation, boundaries, resources, analysis, design, implementation, maintenance, and evaluation. Now, we can break this down point for point, starting with G, goals. So, one goal or the goal of a sustainable system should be to incorporate biodiversity. Or in other words, we are all a part of ecology, of an ecosystem. And each one of us plays a role in that ecosystem, from the ant to the elephant. So, one of the problems that we face as humanity in general is the over focus on ourselves as a species, irrespective of the environment that we exist in, that we are a product of. So when we consider sustainability, we need to look at it on a macro level, right? We ourselves are part of the diversity of the ecosystem in which we live. So that's first consideration. Next is observation. So with observation, we look at the world around us and we begin to recognize patterns, things that repeat themselves or take on certain shapes, that are repeatable, that we can see, right? So within our environment, we need to recognize that certain patterns have certain benefits and or consequences. Then we have to get specific, right? So we have to set boundaries on what particular aspects are we going to focus on at a particular given time, right? What are our immediate needs, that we need to focus on, and with that consideration, we need to look at our resources. What type of resources do we have available? What's naturally occurring in the environment? What have we already built that we can repurpose and reuse, right? Next comes, or in addition to that, is analysis, right? Whereby we tap into our imagination, our creativity on what's possible. We use our genius to be able to put things together, right? Come up with solutions, right? And through that process, we'll be able to design systems that are efficient through how we place people and resources in relation to one another, right? You know, like one problem that we have in the community is, for example, is food deserts, meaning that there's too much distance between the place where food is being created and where it's actually needed. So by placing, for example, gardens in your own community or your own home, you know, we are maximizing our efficiency, right? Economy of the resources that we need. So with that process, now we're getting into the implementation. You know, we're taking all these different parts and including them together into our system, or we're phasing into or becoming complementary with the environment. You know, we're working with nature as opposed to against nature. Another consideration that we have to think about is maintenance, right? Because the system has to be maintained, has to be cared for. So wherever possible, we want to create systems that are self-sustaining, that are autonomous, you know. And a lot of that has to do with the previous steps, as far as, you know, recognizing the patterns in nature, working with those patterns, placing things to where it makes sense, you know, putting food where people are, collecting energy where it's produced naturally, like using solar where it's sunny, or wind turbines where it's windy, or water turbines where the rivers flow, for example. And then finally, you have evaluation, where we are, you know, analyzing feedback, you know, the biofeedback from the ecosystem as well as from other people in terms of what's working and what's not working, and how we can cooperate to refine our interactions with one another and the system as a whole, right? So these things are, you know, just some of the aspects that can be used when we are brainstorming and trying to come up with solutions to our societal problems, and really, as you know, humanity as a whole, and the future of our planet. You know, we really have to take these things into consideration for future generations. So I'm just sharing this information with you, you know, to help, you know, spark the conversation, the thought process, so that we can all, you know, be on the same page, or at least be on complementary missions to help, you know, build and sustain our future.